True. But can I ask you, are you allowed to say what your portfolio is? Not numbers, but just your portfolio in
Well,
crypto.
that's easy.
No
Just
numbers.
Ergo ADA and Bitcoin. I don't even have any ETH.
How do you spell ergo?
ERGO. And I'm not an Ergo shill. It's just Ergo was actually a project that was spun out of input output. So Alex Chirpinoy used to work for me,
Oh,
and
I didn't know that.
he kind of designed it through a product called Scorex, and we co-designed it together.
Damn.
And I just always admired the kid, and so he created the project. And it's a small cap, but I just got some because he happened to have been around, and I took a position. And I used to have some Ethereum Classic as well, and I sold all of it. I just
I
couldn't
didn't know
take the
that he sold
community
all of it.
anymore, and just the stupidity of the politics of it.
Oh
And I had
man.
some Dash and a few other things throughout the years. I had some Horizon, because did a deal with them and worked with them, and they paid us in Horizon, and I still probably have some of it floating around. And I
Do you
suspect there's a
Sick.
few other things that are sitting in the treasury.
do you like ergo because you just like the kid, or do you like the technology?
Did he get rugged?
Because you said you liked
Oh.
him, so you just got it.
Okay, 1 second.
I think you got rugged.
Dude, Ergo's good. Like, it's a good play in my opinion. Financial advice.
Well, I've never heard of it.
Yeah,
So
Ergo is interesting because it uses
Ergo's
Sigma
got like
protocols and extended UTXO, and it uses a really clever proof of work algorithm called the Autocalis, although they've had some difficulty with that one. It's just a really well thought out cryptocurrency. Like for example, proof of no pre-mine, and there was, a Bitcoin style distribution where it started at zero and you kind of mined it through. So it's a very pure currency, but it has a treasury system and a litany of other little things, and there's real tech there and there's real community. Plus, it's also created in Scala, which is a beautiful language, and I really like the architecture of the language, like the pure separation between the transaction layer and the network layer and the ledger rules and the consensus algorithm. All of those components are very beautiful from an architectural viewpoint, from an execution viewpoint, and I just really like Chirpinoy's mentality. I mean, he kind of spent years and years and years thinking about it,
I had
writing
no idea
papers
that he
about
sold
it,
all his
built it himself, just like
Ethereum Classic
Satoshi
though.
built Bitcoin, and launched it without any concern or care whether it was commercially successful or not. So that's the kind of stuff that
right.
I look for. It's like it's an intellectual curiosity to scratch an itch. In this particular case, the extended UTXO model and Sigma protocols were the two things that he really wanted to test. And now we have Ergo Dex and several other great, interesting dApps there. And it really helped us in the Cardano space think about design patterns of extended UTXO because they launched before we did that programming model. So we learned a lot from it from that. And I just like the community; they're friendly people. But show you how bad of an investor I could have sworn that thing would be much more valuable, but it's gotten no love or traction from the market. So don't take advice from me.
Right. No, I understand
Oh
that. I
man,
just
here we
have
go with the
two more
freaking spam
statements.
bots, man. I
What
must be doing something
percent
right. I'm
of
getting all
your
these damn spam
portfolio
bots.
is crypto?
Jeez.
Or my personal portfolio. So 100% of my assets that aren't equities for companies I
38.
own or crypto. And then
Sheesh,
All
it's
and those
crypto.
companies
dropping.
have their own
It's
treasuries, and
crazy.
obviously those treasuries are diversified. But my
This might be
personal
a pretty good
assets are either
opportunity right
crypto
here.
or equities from companies I own or have
Let's
invested
turn
in.
that down a
I
little bit.
don't actually own any stocks or
Charlie,
bonds.
what is going on with Charlie?
Okay, and then my last statement is, without giving too many details, who is Sartoshi?
I have no idea.
He said he was Adam Beck.
I'm kidding.
he's,
All right, Erica, Nat, and
he
then
said it was
Sheck
Adam.
have
He
their
believed it was
hands up.
Adam Beck.
Yeah, Sheck is up next.
Yeah, go ahead.
What up, guys? Hey.
What up? What up?
Hi, Charles. I also want to shout out Matt James in the audience because I'm a huge fan and I just get to say hey. No,
Matt
Charles, I got a
James.
question for you. I've learned so much about crypto in this past hour. I
What the hell was
invested
that?
in ADA. It was my first cryptocurrency
I have no
back
idea who that is.
in July. Sold it around 3. Had no idea what I was doing and made some money, and it was great. I want to know what you think about people like me who know nothing about cryptocurrency, basically nothing
But
about
she's
the
got an
technology.
NFT
I'm an
project though.
artist. I'm not a kind of I'm not a technical person. Do you see people like me? I feel like I'm a rare case. Do you see people like me purchasing ADA?
You're
And
not a
how would
rare
I use
case.
it?
You're like a
I
clone.
mean, if great technology is going to work, it's got to work for everybody, not just one group of people.
It's
Like
like, I
the
know nothing
magic of
about
electricity is
crypto.
when you
I'm a
walk in a room, you flip a
girl.
switch and it turns on.
I've got an
You know, the
NFT
magic of
project.
cell
Buy my
phones is you don't
stuff.
really have to understand anything about cellular communication and network protocols and
Then
multi-touch
people complain
screens
about
and
NFT, the
liquid
NFT
crystal
space. Well,
displays
there's your
and, you know,
problem
all this
right there.
arcane stuff. You
Anybody
just
can
push
make
a
a
button and it
project.
just turns on, and you just tap something and it just works.
Honestly, it needs a barrier to
So
entry.
as technology gets better, especially emerging technology, user experiences need to improve. And it gets to a point where mainstream people can use it, and then it enables something. So great technology enables things you couldn't do before. So we had smartphones before the iPhone, but we really didn't have an iPhone-like experience before the iPhone. It's like, for example, I remember years before the iPhone came out, so it was, oh, I can navigate with a map app on my phone. And it was a horrible, horrible experience. You know, like one of those Blackberries with the keyboard and God. And then you see the iPhone, it's like it's touch and you have Google Maps and you can actually explore it and it's moving with you. And you're like, holy shit, this is like proper GPS. And I just tap a button for that to happen. So what you have to do is say, okay, where in crypto does this exist? Okay, so you're an artist, or let's say that you're somebody who's a small business owner or something like
I need to
that.
be making some
Well, wouldn't it be
content.
so cool if you have a business model that you now can do that you couldn't do before? Maybe it's crowdfunding, or maybe it's non-dilutive fundraising for your business.
I don't like that
Maybe it's
price.
new markets to sell things to. Like, let's say you're a musician and you're bored.
It's crazy.
Okay, you're LL Cool J. Okay, so if you get to be LL Cool J for the day, congratulations. And so you just get up at like 1 o'clock in the morning. You're just shit faced bored, and you say, "I'm going to hold a fucking impromptu concert," and you just broadcast on this new crypto platform. You click a button on your phone. You just start freestyling it, and then people can tip you. And let's say all those people have crypto and it's super easy for them to tip. They just tap something on their phone. And then you wake up and you know you made $50,000 for like 30 minutes of spitballing and freestyling with your fan base. And then you can just give them NFTs and you can like give them merit points and shit like that. And they keep it with them. And let's say it's like a crowd loyalty thing. So if they attend all of your freestyles, that gets connected to your tickets when you have a concert. And a year
Oh my
later,
God.
because they have all that stuff,
More
they get
bots.
backstage
Very
access.
rare
And they get to
person that
meet you.
doesn't know anything.
So that's an example of an
Peter K, what's
experience
up?
that, frankly, is only possible.
I'm just looking at some stuff.
with
I've been
crypto.
looking at Charlie 3
You know,
for a little while.
it just costs
Just
too
look at
much
that. Look at that
otherwise.
right there.
Microtransactions
Charlie
with
3 at
MasterCard and Visa.
Paribus's market
No,
cap.
you need a centralized service and all this sign up and all these other
It's
things. The
$1.65.
spontaneity of just
It's
clicking a button,
interesting.
have a service come up. No, you need a relationship with YouTube or Google or some shit like
Let's look
that.
at Giro.
No, it's just thing. You're just sitting there, just click a button, and then they have wallets, and you have your thing, and
52.
you know, it just
All
all
right.
works.
I think these
And then
projects.
that ticketing
Do you think
thing,
these
normally
projects
you
can
have to
have the
make a deal with
capability of reaching
Ticketmaster or the
Paribus's
venue or all that other stuff. They got a
success?
wallet
People
and
think
everything.
Paribus is
You
extremely low
visual,
cap.
and you just basically count all that.
Charlie
right?
3 is going to be
So that's the power.
I think Charlie 3's
of
utility is more
decentralization and
widespread.
new experiences, and a lot of that are going to be invented by entrepreneurs or people
Looks
who just having
rare.
fun and
I don't know anything
and
about
when you
looks
get it
rare.
right,
What's the
it
ticker
really
for it?
is
I'll take a look.
transformative. Suddenly, you have an artist who made 50
Let's
grand
turn
for 30
Charlie
minutes
down a
of
little bit.
work, and there was no agent involved, no booking involved, no sale of tickets involved, and they have now a more direct relationship with
Looks
their
rare.
audience.
Maybe I'll just search for it.
With their audience. You know, another thing is you can create a request system. Let's say, you know, you get a posse of people together and
Looks rare. What is it?
For that posse of people. What they can do is contingent fundraising. They can create a pot of money and just keep adding to it until the Stones play. And at some point, you know, it gets to a tipping point where they're like, shit,
An NFT marketplace.
That's pretty cool if you think about it.
Okay, so they're competing with OpenSea.
Let's say you guys want to see a movie where Brad Pitt is in a gay relationship with
What is he talking about?
Nathan Lane. It's like the Birdcage 2. He's having an affair on. Well, Robin Williams is dead, so like that's his second husband. and there's some batshit crazy. Let's say the Coen brothers direct and Quentin Tarantino wrote the script. Okay.
NFT only. Buyer gets NFT only. Seller gets approximately. Okay, but on looks rare, you do the deal. Trading fees and royalties are lower. Trading reward. So you get a reward with the NFT. So it's like a bonus. Okay. So it's a open seas with tokenomics implemented into the transactions. 125,000 followers.
living in Web3 needs to have a utility. Whereas kind of in, I mean, just like IRL, if you go to an art gallery, you're getting an experience. I guess I'm kind of saying is do the people that are interacting with it on a Web3 platform or whatever, do they really need to get something in return for people
Yes.
to make the investment?
If you want to be competitive.
No, I think it needs a community. So utility is where it does something for somebody, but value comes from a community. I've had so many
It's
fights
hard
with
to build
leadership.
communities.
The last time I had this fight was years ago. I was at the
Well,
Aspen
I mean, it's
Institute, and I
easy
ran
for
into him in the
girls if they
hallway.
just like show
We
their
ended up
body
spending like
parts
20
to a bunch of
minutes going back
simps.
and forth, like Bitcoin is a scam and it's worthless.
But an actual community actually is difficult to build.
It's like that doesn't mean anything. There's no intrinsic value.
Like if you want to build a community, I mean, there's like a reason why like real built communities last like decades, like generations even. But then like, for example, you know, OnlyFans girls that build communities, their communities can like vanish overnight because they don't look as good as they used to. So if your community is built on the way you look and your community is like a bunch of simps, they'll just leave you. There's no allegiance there. They'll just leave you for whatever the next, you know, attractive chick is that's showing her body for money or attention. Surprised you haven't heard of them. No, I haven't. I don't really like NFTs, Ethereum based NFTs, just because of the cost of them. I just think it's just silly. I mean, it's complete. It's, to me, it's just straight up just like casinos. I mean, I'm not sitting here saying that, you know, they're a waste of time, don't get into them. I mean, there's a lot of money in them. People are making fortunes with them. I mean, listen to the conversation that's happening right now.
That will have enduring value in that respect. And you can
And
still
this
have
person in, I mean,
non-utility things, just like an art gallery example. Well, there's a community
like she's talking
of
right now.
people
She's
who
got
think Da Vinci is one of the greatest painters
photographer,
of all time.
producer,
And
NFT
thus
collector,
the Mona
holder,
Lisa is really
and you know,
valuable.
she's
But
got a
then
project.
compare and contrast that with
She's
Jean
got
Rome.
more followers than I
have some of his
do.
paintings.
I don't know what
It's
she does, but she says she doesn't know
masterpieces
much.
that this guy, like Policio Verso,
And
the
she got
Gladiator
to
fight,
speak
it's the
to
one you see
Charles
in the
Hoskinson,
office
and the
when I do
moment
the
she's
AMAs.
got into the space, she started shouting out like other dudes. Like, I don't know, man. It just says a lot about a person. That's just me, though. I like look at a lot of the context clues when it comes to people.
I know you said you don't have any NFTs, or you. I think you said that. I mean, at least speaking for myself, the communities that I'm a part of make the NFT world so valuable, like you're kind of touching upon. And it's when these artists can kind of form these communities.
But everybody's an artist, though.
We do kind of have the biggest benefit.
I'm sorry. I know. I mean, I don't want to. I'm just not gonna. I'm not gonna talk about.
But no, it's.
People get really offended when I say things like that.
Last question, and I'll get off. You mentioned Brad Pitt.
I just hate like the effortless, you know. I'm a girl. All these simps are gonna just like support me for no reason. Well, I mean, there's a reason, but it's like they just pretend like they don't know the reason.
Yeah, there's also gangs in New York. God, why is the name skipping? It'll come back to me in a second. But he's
yeah, right. Really, but the thing about looks is it has an expiration date. And then, you know, people build an empire on looks and then it like fades in a day and they're like, oh no, you people are terrible. It's like, not really. I mean, you had a product. The product is deteriorating by the day. Eventually it's going to be worthless. So, and I get it. I mean, I'm not a girl. I don't have those powers, and I understand there's a difference, but I'm not going to sit here and pretend like there isn't, you know. Oh, people buy it because they like the artwork. Like, yeah, sure they do. I'm sure you would have the exact same success if you were anonymous. You didn't post any pictures of yourself. You weren't posting selfies all day long.
There's a lot of fair weather people that tend to cling on to you. And then he looked at me without.
Hey, what's going on, man?
He said, Charles, I hate Klingons.
But again, you know, that's just my, you know, opinion. I'm not like trying to tear anybody down, but it's just like I hate when people pretend like the obvious isn't the obvious. And it's all over the place. Like there's so many like people, like I have another Twitter that's a part of a different community, and in that community, like no one talked about crypto. No one was involved in technology. All they literally did was just talk about sports and like television shows. And now like I haven't logged into that account in so long, and I went back and logged in.
It's got like the 10-inch long.
Yeah, exactly. Don't be too honest. I logged back into it and like literally all of the quote unquote like Instagram models that are on there, they're all NFT artists. Like every single one of them is an NFT artist now. It's just like, oh, whatever. If you got a support system, these dudes want to throw money at you, and go for it, man. More power to you. Looks rare though.
Agriculture, so I do a lot of hydroponics work in aquaculture.
Billion tokens.
I'm just about ready to turn on a mushroom.
Infinity.
I cultivate.
What's this about? Oh, it's Infinity.
So that's incredible.
It's a pretty big market cap.
I spend a lot of time hiking in nature.
I don't know. I mean, it's we're definitely not early. It's got a year. $2. What's the max? Yeah, just kind of started pretty high. Had a lot of liquidity.
So that you're meditating properly for different forms of meditation. So
peak was all-time high was $7 4 days ago. Yeesh. I don't know if this actually. I mean, it could be a good hold. I mean, I personally wouldn't touch it just because I don't really know much about it. Uniswap, it's Ethereum for sure. Gate.io, like if it were on like KuCoin or something, I'd say, hey, why not take a chance? But Uniswap, I mean, unless you're in one of these Gate.io, if you're in one of these platforms with USDT pairing, it could go lower. It could go high. It could retest that all-time high. Where are we at? Where was that at? In January? That wasn't even that long ago. Yeah, it's just got market effect. It's just affected by the market like anything else. C3 is definitely worth looking into. They're the first native Cardano Oracle. So pretty much, I mean, if you're a project building on Cardano, there's a good chance that you're using Charlie 3 or going to use Charlie 3. The problem with Charlie 3 right now, let me turn Charles down a little bit. The problem with Charlie 3 right now is that we're literally like waiting on PAVs. So until that is resolved in working, I mean, there's nothing they can really do until that's resolved. So that's your only issue. So, and there's no telling when that's going to happen. They believe it's going to happen within the next quarter or two. They believe it's going to happen before the end of summer. That's what I've been seeing. But you never know. Anything could happen, So I mean, like anything else, it's a risk. I would buy Charlie 3 over Looks Rare. But Looks Rare could be if you're willing to hold it. All-time low was 15 days ago, and its all-time high was 4 days ago. Its max, we're going back to January. Like, this is crazy. It's brand new. It could crash. I mean, it could retest that all-time high. I wouldn't look at it long term. I wouldn't me personally, I wouldn't look at it long term. Like, I wouldn't get in today and think long term. I would get in today and I'd be like, sell as soon as it tests, 700 or $7. Get my money out, get my initial investment out, and move on. That's what I would do. But I like Charlie though. I do like Charlie. I'm a big fan of Cardano, right? So again, like when I say we're in this opportunity where Ethereum was a number, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, where everything was building and everything that is the big known project, like the big known DEX is Uniswap, the big known borrowing and lending platform is Aave, Compound, those things are building on Cardano today, but we don't know exactly what they are. What's the DEX going to be? What's the Uniswap going to be? Is it going to be Sunday Swap? Is it going to be ADAX? Is it going to be MusiSwap? Is it going to be, MinSwap? Is it going to be Maladex? We don't know. But one of them or all of them are going to succeed. But one is going to be the king. I think one is going to be the king, and then there's going to be one that is like used by a niche group. So I think you've got two opportunities here. So you've got two chances. You're either going to hit the the king or you're going to hit the niche. Either way, you're going to make money, but depending on the tokenomics though. So like if you look at like Maladex, Mal, do they even have, I don't even think they have a token out yet. Nope, they don't. Let's look. Maladex. Boom. Maladex. They don't even have, they don't have anything. Like they're brand new. Their tokenomics are crazy. They have their tokenomics are double that of Bitcoin. So they have like 42 million tokens. It's a decentralized exchange based on research. They follow the Cardano way. Research, research, research. Study, 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 prove, and then release. They don't do the just code it, bro approach like a lot of other projects do. So this is one of them. This is one of the dexes that's, you know, in the running. Then there's a min swap. Min swap's another one. This is the first pool, multi-pool decentralized exchange on Cardano, yield farming, IFO, and IDO. Initial DEX offering. So I got in on this. I just got a few. They're going to do the test flight tomorrow, and they're doing, it's like a reward-based one. So I'm probably going to have to do a video on this tonight before I jump in bed and have it ready in the morning. I need to get ready and get in the bed. They just partnered with Genius Yield. I saw that announcement in the last couple of days. But we've been dealing with a lot of the drama with card starters, so that has kind of been in the way. Another thing with is the ADAX, exchange. ADAX, let's see. Duplicate. ADAX. This is another one. This was kind of popped up out of nowhere almost. January 21st, they said that they added new tokens. Sunday. Oh, they got Sunday on there? Dang, I need to take a look. Milk. Liquid. They've got some good stuff, man. I didn't even see this. I need to take a look at that. And again, it don't let the centralized part throw you off. It's a little funky the way it works. It kind of works like Orion protocol. You connect your wallet, you send your stuff to, you basically deposit your tokens and you do your trading, and then you can withdraw if you want to, or you can leave it if you want to. Orion. Yeah, I said it works like Orion. Orion's another player. Let's duplicate. Let's take a look at Orion. Orion protocol is another one that's really neat. Hit trade. There's a DApp here. You can actually connect your wallet. It supports a number of different wallets. You've got, you know, trading. You've got all your stuff here. You can do your trading there. You can do your pools. They've got liquidity pools. They've got a launch pad. So they just did an IDO for that. Yeah, they got ORN, USDT. They've got. They used to have a. Oh yeah, they still do. They still have a pair of pool. 152%. Wow. Interesting. 152%. But you got to look at. So they're putting out. They're not putting out a ton of rewards each week though. Oh, that's ORN. Never mind. PBX. How much? Ooh, dang, $250,000 in rewards each week. So you would get a percentage of that if you're into risking. I think like right now, it'd be tough though. The price is down, but the volume is probably down too. SDAO, there's an SDAO one. Crazy. SDAO is down big. But you can do swaps on here. You can trade your Orion for different things. You can do USDT. You got USDT in your wallet. You can look for, let's see, SDAO. Let's do 1. You get back 9.5. Yeah, so let's take a look at S-Dow. You got Matic on there, Uniswap, S-Dow. Geez, $1. It's S-Dow's almost $1. That's crazy. The prices right now. I mean, if you got fiat or you've got, stable coin, you're Christmas shopping right now. At least I hope you are. $1. Where's it $1 at? KuCoin, it's $1. It's 101. What's ORN at right now? 350. Yeesh. Look where it was. It used to be like $30. I remember when it was $30. Man. It's still up like 500%. So Ryan's doing some discount shopping. I've been accumulating some Orion. I might buy some more, but I really want to get some more Giro. But the price, it just hasn't dipped as far as I wanted it to. I thought it was really gonna touch low. This was when like network congestion was like killing me. It's really hard to trade right now.
From a technology viewpoint,
Charles still talking.
I had some umbrage with the way the crowd sale was done and the initial distribution, and I thought it was just curious how their foundation was formed and so forth. But they're so far.
Oh, new
past
follower.
that kind of
Thanks.
stuff. It's ancient history, and they're just chugging away and trying to do right by their community. And they
got a lot going on. Had a lot going on this week, this last week, especially with Card Starter.
Labs, for example,
I'm done with my, my research. I'm done with my monitoring. Like I'm personally just, my own curiosity looking at stuff still, just to see what they're doing, what's going on. But I'm not reporting. I'm not doing any recordings anymore.
Real commercial sponsor that was doing big OCaml work that was Jane Street, which was a Wall Street firm, and they had a very specific application set. And Tezos has been kind of, pushing things in a different direction. Now that community, there's some members of it are just mercilessly horrible to the Cardano community. I say kind things about them, and then they say
there's people that are like, you know what? I'm not even going to talk about it. Screw them. They deserve everything that's happening to them.
Again and again and again, and there's just so much toxicity and negativity there, and it just seems to be unending, year after year after year, and it's just bizarre, especially given that
15.
both projects seem more philosophically aligned than, let's say, Cardano and ICP or Cardano and Polkadot or other things. We seem to be drawing from similar wells. Maybe they're just jealous that we got the adoption and traction and they didn't. I don't know, but it's just bizarre that there's been so much criticism there, and it's just kind of sad because there's a lot we could have worked on together, like standards for smart contract certification or other things like that. And I think we could have done some productive work, but it's very difficult at times when one community attacks another community as vociferously as
What's he talking about?
As their community has done without any provocation, I'd say. They also use an accounts model for smart contracts. We use the extended UTXO model.
Oh, so talking about
that's going to
Ethereum?
be long term a huge bottleneck for the Tezos community.
Oh, Tezos.
It's a decent thing, and they've survived a lot of governance upgrades. They have recursive governance that's on chain. It was a really clever idea, and I thought that Arthur was onto something. It lacks a lot of formalism like the hard fork combinator has for us, but it's still a really clever idea, and they were first to market with that idea. So you got to give them kudos for that.
Hey,
market cap.
Ryan came up. Hey Ryan, how
2.5.
Hey guys, good to see you. What's up? ML, then Ball is live.
Hey, how's it going? Charles, again. I have a question and something to tell you real quick, right?
My Card Starter videos are going to age well.
ADA?
Yeah, I think they've served their purpose. Like today, I think they've really served their purpose. Everything else, anything after that?
Whose ADA are you actually talking about burning?
Oh, a burning
All
question.
ADA is distributed at the moment. Everybody who has ADA owns ADA. So like which person would you like to steal ADA from to destroy?
He wants
to
the
benefit
foundation to
everybody
burn
else?
their
Do you have a
ADA.
particular actor in mind?
Not really. Just like, don't you guys have like a supplier? What's it called?
Yeah,
A
but
buyback.
so should we burn Bitcoin? Should we change the monetary policy of Bitcoin so there's less than 21 million Bitcoin? Because there's no giant pool of ADA just like sitting out there in ether. It's created through the block minting process as an
Yeah, it
incentive mechanism,
belongs to
but that
people.
reward curve is just like Bitcoin where it's deflationary.
It's
So
already
it doesn't
deflationary.
go from like a foundation to somebody. It's minted on the fly as blocks are created, just like Bitcoin is. So you'd have to adjust the monetary policy of Cardano, but it's already a deflationary monetary policy.
Is there not an ADA wallet? Is there not any sort of like buyback of any sort?
No,
No, why would
it's a
what?
real cryptocurrency. It's not a
Yeah,
scam.
it's
So it
used.
has a Bitcoin style monetary policy because that's a real monetary policy, and it's been exactly the
Yeah.
same since it launched.
I don't understand the
Exactly,
people with
man.
this
It's
burn
just
stuff. Oh, you need to burn it. Burn whose tokens are you going to burn? Should Charles burn his tokens?
Yeah,
Why would he burn his own
Bitcoin has
tokens?
8 decimal points and ADA has 6. Move it 2, and if it makes you feel better, the supply has already been taken down by 2 orders of magnitude. Maybe that makes you a little happier.
Yeah. And one more
I
thing.
don't think it was shit on ADA. I think that was just an honest question.
He just
truthfully.
he's a
guys
burn
gotta
boy.
understand, it's like I get this question like every day, and I always have the same answer. It's like it's a real cryptocurrency. It's not a gimmick. And there is no central bank that sits down there creating and destroying coins out of thin air to try to manipulate the price of ADA. I mean,
Yeah.
it's a deflationary monetary policy, just like Bitcoin. So if you're asking,
Nobody's
what, should we
burning
burn ADA, you
Bitcoin.
should be asking, should we burn Bitcoin?
Yeah.
How many people here think it's a good idea to go destroy 1 million Bitcoin? And whose Bitcoins would you destroy? Or do you want to adjust the emission policy?
It's so arbitrary. I'm over this, please.
Yeah.
Yo,
So,
Charles coming with the heat right now.
Seriously.
I want to
Oh
give
my
Pat a chance and Ball his life.
Sorry.
Yeah,
I don't even remember what we were talking about. Oh, the card starter videos. Yeah. I think they serve their purpose already. You know, I did it as a precautionary thing, and I had no clue they were going to go to 100 like they did. I mean, they went to 100. I didn't think that they were so toxic. So yeah, I didn't believe. I thought I was going to be able to record the videos, and then I'd be done with it, and then I would tuck them away, and then if things progressed, then I would have evidence, you know, of the bad actors. But as I'm recording, they're just like growing and growing with more and more insanity. So that's why I was taken back by that. So yeah, that was crazy. You know, it is crazy. It's not was. They're still doing what they're doing. It's worse and worse as like I would say every 8 hours it's probably worse. Like I'm done recording them. It's just pointless, like beating a dead horse. I've displayed how terrible they are already. I mean, what else? What more can we do? You know, just continue to show how terrible they are. You know, I tweet some updates about what's going on if it's like really monumental. The latest thing that they've been doing, because I've been monitoring it. The latest thing they've been doing is they are in the Sunday Swap Discord trolling, spamming them. Sunday Swap had to turn their Discord to an hour slow mode, which is terrible because now the community can't get their questions answered. So they're just trolling everybody that's involved with Sunday. They're trolling anybody who openly supports Sunday. Anybody that doesn't agree with them is a Sunday Swap agent. They're fighting each other still. They go from like fighting each other to being mad at someone to being mad at Sunday Swap to trolling Sunday Swap to organizing FUD. They raided a few different Telegram groups. It's just really toxic. I mean, we've already displayed how terrible they are. I mean, there's not once they threaten to kill me, it's like what more can you capture? What else are they going to do? How bad are they going to get? So I just like, let's might as well just pull the plug. It's over. You know, over for me, over for my documentation. I got enough videos. I got enough evidence. It's in amazing 4K quality. There's not much you can ask for.
human decision making for some form of algorithmic or AI
I'm really
and there's a lovely essay from
interested in
Szabo that
MinSwap
talks about
though.
dry code and wet code, and I'd highly recommend you read it. So like dry is what the algorithms do, and wet is what the fleshy human brains do. And Szabo kind of opines on this for a little while. And so far, I have seen no examples where an algorithm has completely replaced human judgment
Yeah, I'm definitely
and
back
human
to that. I
decision making
recorded
outside of some
a few
obvious
videos. I did a
examples
Jiro
of
wallet update
algorithmic salient
in
points. People like
a
Paper
Milkomeda
Girl
DC
Jen,
Spark
where
video
we
that I
kind of
did
show some
today.
examples of where
Those will
algorithmic
probably come
stabilization
out
is
tomorrow.
somewhat self-regulating.
I'm
But
gonna
that's a
record
specific
a
thing, a
MinSwap
specific
video.
target
I want to talk
that
about
presupposes the
their
existence of
test net.
Oracle. When you want to go to
They're doing the
something as
test net,
complex as a
so
human-driven
the
institution
test flight, and
and
then they
make
have like
decisions like
rewards.
should Bob get
So I'm
the
gonna do a story
promotion
on
or
that.
not? Should Jane get
What
the job
else?
or Bob get the job? These types of
Maladex is a
things,
little early
then you have
still.
this
I'm
combinatorial
still
complexity
in the
inside of your
in
decision
their
space
pool
that
earning
computers aren't
Maladex.
very
I'll probably
good
end up with like
at
one.
dealing with. And even if you develop algorithms to decide
The
things,
Jiro wallet is
because those
doing
algorithms are
good. I
transparent
got
for the
more
most part,
ADA
people can
in
engineer
that.
against those algorithms
So
to
we'll
basically optimize. You see this a
I don't
lot
know,
with
maybe
search
I'll pick
engines.
up. I
There's
was
a
looking at
whole
using some of
field
that maybe to
of
little
commercialism
diversify a
called
little
search
bit
engine optimization, where people
and grab
think about
some,
SEO for your website. Say,
C3,
well, how
grab
do I
some
game the
Jiro,
Google
maybe
algorithm so
grab.
that you can get a
What was
higher
I thinking
ranking in
about
the Google
grabbing?
search list?
Yeah, I was thinking
Well,
about grabbing some
analogously,
Charlie for
you can
sure.
game a DAO and do your own SEO for a
Maybe
DAO to
even get a meme
prioritize
token, maybe
the
like the
reputation
Bison
of your
coin or
algorithmic
something.
governance.
Nothing
So then
crazy,
a
just
lot of
to say
people
we
say, well,
have it.
then we'll just have a human being get involved to kind of decide against them.
And
And then you're like, well,
maybe in
but now
doing
you've
that,
just changed
maybe do a
autonomy
video on how to
mechanical
use,
Turk,
the different
and
dexes
your
and like how
human
they
being
work
involved
and,
as a centralized point of
how
failure.
that all
So
works.
you've lost
I might
both
do
the
that.
A and the D. You see, so this is among one of the
But
hardest
I use a
things I think to
MacBook
do in this entire space, because you're basically talking
transactions,
about like
so
AGI
I'll probably have
or
to
some
get a
sort of
different
algorithmic
setup.
obfuscation
We'll
that
see how
allows
that.
you
We'll
to
see.
copy
I'm
your
working on that
algorithm
still,
so
like a
it's
mobile
still
setup. We'll see how it
self-governable.
works.
So they need some sort of stochasticism in them, so they're not unpredictable, and they have to be blinded. And then also, you don't have a good definition of decentralization outside of this Jenga definition of a functional test. We don't have a good measurement for it. So, on our part, we're creating a lab at Edinburgh, University of Edinburgh, to measure decentralization in general
Edinburgh,
protocols. Including
the
some
real
contests
Edinburgh, like in
going into
Europe,
Edinburgh Decentralization
not the one in
Index. And we're kind of
Pennsylvania.
negotiating out how to do that in a fair way. And we've written some papers on it. We also have a paper coming out on blockchain governance in general. That's an SOK paper. So it's a systematization of knowledge. It basically rolls
So
up
yield
everything that's known.
farming.
On
I
the
was
A
in
part, we've
the
been working very closely with an AI
FISO
venture called
airdrop,
SingularityNet, and we talk all the time
DAO
about
treasury. So
AGI
they're
and
gonna do a DAO.
these blinded
Interesting.
algorithms and these types of things. But it's a problem that I think will take about 5 to 10 years to 20 years to probably solve completely,
Yield farming.
if it can even be solved completely. The other side of it is what you're mentioning, which is this concept of evasion of liability.
It's gonna be pretty sweet,
Here's
I
the long
think.
and the short. They don't really care who created it. They care who made the money on it. And the founders and the other insiders who made a
That's cool.
boatload of money, if they did
I
that
like
and
the
it hurt
way
a
I
lot
like
of
the
people in the
characters. I like the
process,
art. It's pretty
a
cool. Pretty
regulator's
cool.
going to find a way to work their way in that direction and punish the party if there's a political will.
Bogdanov.
Martin Schreckle is a great example of that. When you look at how he ran his fund, there was nothing there that was egregiously unorthodox
Yeah, I've
from
been
the behavior
just
of other funds who were doing things. It's just
naturally looking at Charlie and Jiro wallet. You're gonna get exposure to Cornucopus. I found out about them like really early, but are they on Binance? I wanted to ask them because I was on a call, but I didn't get in fast enough to be able to get a question answered. I was going to ask them if they had plans to like migrate to Cardano because I think they're Binance, if I'm not mistaken. Do you know if they've ever talked about that, migrating to Cardano? Because I know they're involved with a bunch of Cardano projects, but their token's in Binance, which is really weird to me. Orion's got a bunch of new. They need to update. They're gonna update probably and change all the color schemes and stuff. I wonder if they got Cornucopus on here. It's Kopi, ain't it? No, it's not on there. funny. It's funny. People still believe we can burn Ada. I mean, you can, but whose Ada are you going to burn?
That'll happen naturally. So step one is to build a good sidechain ecosystem, because then you have interoperability between an accounts-based model and a UTXO model, and vice versa. And then also the Hydra design, really long term, will probably be able to talk to the Bolt spec, and that means Lightning interoperability will occur there. So first, you have to decide how your interoperability bridges are going to work.
I need to get.
That, and then you build good wallet.
I need to buy another microphone.
And then you have to ask a question of like, what would add maximal value to the Cardano ecosystem? I'd argue two assets in particular make a lot of sense.
I was thinking about this pod mic.
Well-accepted stablecoin, whether that be Tether or Circle, and then
I don't know.
Bitcoin itself as a wrapped asset. Both of those make a lot of sense to be encumbered.
The thing's clean. It's small. It's portable.
ADA itself, whether it goes to,
but I heard it's heavy.
It's a governing token of a high utility chain. It doesn't really need to leave Cardano for it to have influence. Really, the native assets.
He looks like he plays Nintendo Switch.
At some point, and enter other systems. It doesn't make a lot of sense to
send them to
Ether or high saturation blockchains, because your transaction fees are simply too high. And that's why it's going the other direction. They're leaving Ethereum and they're going into layer 2s. And what are the layer 2s offering? They're basically saying better, faster, cheaper, more scalable. Well, effectively, the sidechain.
Dude, I did a Twitter space with my Rode mic or my Rodecaster. I didn't like the quality. I need to figure out how to get good quality on my mobile setup. That's the next challenge.
So you can bootstrap a high-speed system from a
I'm going to be leaving town for the weekend this weekend, so I'll still be talking with you guys, but I don't know. I might go when I go. I might do like the ghetto live where I use my phone or something or my iPad.
Faster than the base ledger. So,
but I'm just looking for a way to get better audio quality in that mobile setup, and maybe even be interactive where I can like look at where I can do this, where I can like stream like my browser and stuff. Just kind of hang out with you guys.
Because they want to capture the customers, and they'll probably do it through the same wallet interface that supports both sides of the rainbow. And I think that's a pretty good first step for interoperability.
4.9.
And above and beyond that, it's going to be community driven.
I'm a big fan of Jiro.
You don't have to ask permission to wrap an asset and move it. Not a single person who created Wrap Bitcoin on Ethereum had to go call up Blockstream and say, "Hey,
Pancake
guys,
swap." Okay.
Move this Bitcoin off of Bitcoin and put it somewhere else. No, it just did it. And so if it's a permissionless decentralized system, you should have the freedom to do that. And what I worry about is what creates the biggest bang for the buck.
The same prices.
Builds all the roads, so that such an endeavor is an easy thing for people to do and commercialize around.
Okay, we got Pat next. Then
7 is the all-time high. We're a little under 3 right now.
You can possibly think of.
Hey Charles, what's up?
Looks like their progress was cut short by the market.
Sean Lennon's son listening to us right now, Sean Lennon. Sean, it's good to see you, man.
What the hell?
What?
Are you serious?
What?
Sean, what's up?
Hey, Sean.
Sean Lennon.
Legendary.
No, his father's.
Sorry to call you out, man. It's just I'm a little starstruck.
Wow.
Oh, wow, right here.
Starstruck from Charles. This is like starstruckception right now. I'm starstruck.
Yeah, I'm on the floor.
This is wild.
Wow. I did a little.
I bought an Alabama guitar signed. That's my guitar memorabilia. I need a Lennon guitar. Come on.
I'm digging the muskox, man.
Crazy.
So he requested. He's on his way up.
What in the Lord is going on?
What is happening?
That's why I jump on these, man. That's crazy. That's crazy. Oh, he's talking.
But he's connecting.
Sean Lennon and Charles Hoskinson join the Twitter.
Hey guys, what's up?
Hello, Sean.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah,
absolutely
it's good to finally talk to you, man. I mean, we've PM'd a few times, but it's good to actually see you in the flesh.
I know, I slid into your DMs, Well, it's really nice to hear you talking. It's funny because I was just kind of laying in bed going to sleep and listening to you guys talk. It's in a really interesting spaces, and then I just heard my name come up, and I'm like, oh my god, are they talking about me? So then I heard you, and I'm like, oh my god, I gotta say hello. So thank you, but I am a little bit. I'm a little out of it. I was in a semi going to sleep kind of state, but Yeah, man, it's really nice to meet you on Spaces, but also it's great hearing you talk. I mean, a lot of Spaces are not specific about the technology, and they're not very informative. They're more just kind of casual chats, and it's been really interesting to hear your responses to these questions because they've been very
What's the pair?
on point
Oh,
and
Rap B&B.
informative. I really
I don't
appreciate that.
have much B&B,
Yeah, well,
and
I got a question for you,
I'm.
if you don't mind.
Hey,
So
Dark Entry, do
I
you
don't know if you were
know
in the space when I brought up.
how to get B&B in a decentralized, like where I don't have to report to the IRS? That would be dope. I had a way, but it was like I had to use like crypto.com. It just no. It's like a maze because of where I am. Legally, I can't use Binance, so I only have like $30 worth of BNB. I mean, I guess I could use that $30, but I'd like this. I'd like to buy more if I'm gonna use Pancake Swap.
In order to really understand the process. And already back then I was wondering about like how could this impact the relationship between
35.
artists and music and their audience and the way that they interact. And obviously there's a billion and one possibilities.
$1.08 right now.
There's a million models that you could imagine between
Crazy.
selling limited edition albums just for people who want to buy NFTs to like actually sharing ownership of copyright of songs, and there's all sorts of ways you could do it. I find it very interesting, and I would love I'd be more interested to hear what you think is going to happen because you know a lot more about crypto. But in my view, one of the only issues that I have with thinking that it's going to be this huge industry, meaning crypto or tokenization of music, is that I don't know that there's a problem in the tech of the way that music is consumed now for people, meaning that technology tends to solve problems
I can't.
and
I was
feel like
buying.
people
I can't believe I was buying
can
Matic,
get their music
like
basically
50
for free now
cents.
anyway. It's kind of like
And then I was like selling it.
pay for their
I was like trading it. I was using it as cash. Like I was
sure, but that's
buying.
as far as they're
I was
willing to go
swapping it for other stuff. Like it
for
was
the
like
most part. And so
USDT.
it's not like there's anything to fix. The fixing side
I did.
comes
I did
from
some
artists
stuff.
who
I did
feel
some
like
stupid stuff.
they're not getting a fair percentage of their you know of their IP, but and which is true, I would say. I mean, Spotify takes an unreasonable amount of the percentage of music streaming, and that's because they made a kind of back deal devil's bargain with major labels. I mean, I'll just say it, people know that, but the major labels all got a big piece of the equity of that company, and so they don't care about the artist because they're getting paid. Um, and in the old days, the cliche was that record companies were stealing money from artists. I mean, it's a cliche. The basic record deal, whether you were Elvis or the Beatles, was the record company was taking 80-90% more possibly than
Time and balls.
from your revenue. And the Spotify model is even worse.
That's the
It's not good
Doge
for
community,
artists,
man.
the
Dogecoin.
system, but it's great for consumers. So I don't know that consumers are dying for a new model because
Try
it's been really
KuCoin.
great. Again,
Yeah. Let me see.
I love Spotify. I get to listen to millions of albums if I want to a day, and so I just wonder because it would be great for musicians to have a more reasonable
Man, I
relationship
wish
with
there
the
was a way
economics
for
of
me to
selling
get
music. But
this.
I don't know if that's enough to make tokenization of music a really thriving ecosystem.
Gate.io.
Let's put it that way.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting point you bring up, and it's really difficult when
I'll
you're
figure it out. I'm
upfront
sure.
when
I'll check out
consumers have
KuCoin, see if they have it.
it kind of screws the artist because the artist doesn't have the collective buying power then to kind of change that configuration.
Look at
You
Link,
need a
though.
consumer
Let's look
to
at
make
Link.
changes. You bring up a great point in that respect. So what I was thinking about is
Yikes.
saying, well,
That's
you can
fantasy,
change the
though.
distribution model, but the only thing is, as an artist, you can control is the relationship that you have with the fan base. So if there was like
Somebody has a question. Came123 Yahoo. Maybe hold on, let me turn this down. Maybe just not understanding correctly. But what did Cardstarter do with the initial investment, and why didn't they inform the community that Sunday was pulling out of the deal? I understand that the community may have lost out on first dibs on the Sunday swap tokens, but where is the money? Dude, that is the question that I was asking repeatedly. I'm like, this seems like a two issue thing here. So what I personally believe, again, I don't know for sure. I don't know what's going on, just like a majority of the other people. But what I can figure out is, one, the price of Card Starter was inflated. I don't know if it was just because the VCs were buying it up, like the kind of like a sort of a Solana situation. Honestly, I think that's probably what happened. It pulled a Solana. It had a bunch of real world VC investors in Card Starter, because I mean, that's kind of in essence, that's kind of what a launchpad is. Launchpads bring investment to small projects. That's what a launchpad is. You launch the project. And how do you launch a project? With rocket fuel. The rocket fuel being capital. Where do you get these capital from? Venture capitalists. So you have all these venture capitalists that build these launch pads and they fund it. So they buy all these tokens. So I think what happened was Card Starter got boosted with all of the volume, all of the money that got pumped into it. In essence, pumping the token to the moon, and it was almost like $100. And their plan, the way that you use this, the launch pad, required you to have like 500 tokens to get involved in the IDO. And that is when I looked at it and I was like, wow, this is really expensive, because I looked at it I wanted to get Paribus like before they even launched. And I looked at how much money I would need. And at the time I was just like, oh my God, it's like, what? Oh, shut up, Siri. I was like, oh my gosh, that is a lot of money that you'll need. So I said, nah, I'm good. I'm out. I'm not going to do this. So then I was like, I'll just buy it on the open market. And it wasn't that bad, because I think the IDO price on Paribus was like 003 and I got it for like 008. So it like wasn't even, it totally wouldn't have been worth it if I would have bought it with the IDO. I'd be stuck with cards. I'd be on a schedule where my tokens would get unlocked over the course of a year. So in that position, and this doesn't always happen, in that vein, Paribus, it worked out better for me to just buy it on the open market. So I made a smart move. I passed on Card Starter and just bought it on the open market. And then Card Starter freaking crashed. It went down to nothing. It like went to like 30. It went even further down. And now today it's like $2. It used to be $80. Now it's like $2. So that was a problem. So people were just getting wrecked. And that caused, this is all speculation. This is just what I think happened. I think when they lost, when that price of that token fell as hard as it did during a market where things were going up, I think they lost a lot of liquidity. And I think it caused issues for future dealings that they had and other deals that they had going. And people were probably reluctant to buy, because after that happened, we went into kind of like a micro bear market where things really dipped and people were afraid. There was a lot less volume. People weren't really buying stuff. And the people that were buying stuff, they were into meme tokens. They weren't buying a Card Starter project. That people didn't even know what an IDO, launchpad was. So what happened was, I think they tried to start a DEX. They were like, oh, let's just build a DEX. That's what's popular right now. So let's build a DEX. We'll make money. Okay, I see what may happen. So yeah, they build this DEX and they start looking for, hey, where do you look for money if you're trying to build a new project? The people that are already invested in you. So they started getting people to invest in this, and then they set up, which this is when it gets really shady. When they started doing the LP mining, right? Liquidity providing. They started doing that super early. Usually you don't do that until your platform launches. So I'll give you some examples. MinSwap. MinSwap right now, they're doing their IDO through the FISO rewards. So if I put, like, here's the dashboard. Well, these are the rewards, right? It's the dashboard. You put your tokens in a stake pool. That was one of their stake pools. And you generate ADA just like you would normally, but you also would get min and mint also. So it went for like 3 months, which was like like 12 epochs. They distributed the tokens. So when the platform goes live, which it hasn't gone live yet, when the platform goes live, you'll be able to use the platform to provide liquidity in its right. Yield farming, boom, right here. So you'll be able to provide liquidity to pools after the DEX launches. Every single DEX, I can't think of any in my head right now that started a yield farming before the project launched. That was a humongous red flag to me. Even SDAO, Singularity DAO. Even Singularity DAO, which was kind of, they didn't do things normally, but even I don't even think they did that. Yeah, I think it's singularityDAO.ai. Come on, load. What's going on?
But do you think that your choice of using Haskell has hurt adoption? Since I think you also mentioned like other functional languages like OCaml being
Are they
adopted
down?
by, you know,
It might be
traders and
down.
shops like Jane Street.
That sucks.
But yeah, I was just wondering if
You know,
thoughts on that are.
Ironically, there's
Yeah, they might be down right now.
I chose Haskell, and I'll get to that in
Oh, there it is. Launch app.
You have to understand that you can either go imperative or
yeah, they're in beta right now, and they didn't launch this until after the fact. Like, I've never seen a project that was like, yo, we don't have an app or anything, just give us money. And people started giving them money. And then they were going to build a DEX, and it, for whatever reason, it wasn't happening. And if you know, there's something else that they're doing that isn't happening as well. And that's the bridge. They're supposed to have released this bridge forever ago, and it's still not here. So it's like, what the hell's going on with their projects? They just like never launch. But they started collecting liquidity. And then they tried to do a deal with Sunday Swap where they were going to provide liquidity. Wow, Cardstarter got greedy and now there's no money and the community wants blood. Good luck to those people. Yeah, but the problem is Sunday Swap, so it's tricky, right? So I can't sit here and say Sunday Swap doesn't have any blood on their hands, but they only have like some specs, right? They were in the room when the murder happened, but they didn't kill anybody. And they kind of just went, whoa, and kind of crept out of the back door. Well, it's not necessarily the most ethical thing in the world, but at the same time, it's like you're skipping over the person that killed the person to attack the guy that slipped out of the room after witnessing the murder. I think that's what's going on right now with the community. Cardstarter has them fooled into thinking that Sunday Swap is the reason why they lost their money, when in fact Sunday Swap or Cardstarter is the reason why they lost their money. They lost their money because Cardstarter lost it. Who has control over the liquidity for a token that they released? I promise you it's not Sunday. Cardstarter is in control of that stuff. Cardstarter has the wallets. They're sitting there with the people that robbed them, buddying up with them and attacking someone who witnessed it and walked away from it. That's my opinion. That's my theory on what happened. It seems really likely. I mean, even you came to that conclusion. I just see they just got greedy. They probably had some kind of side deal or another deal going that got really damaged because of the market. The market just went down. Their token just went down because honestly, I don't think it was really worth $80 ever to begin with. And when it was 60, I don't think it was ever worth $60. You look at these launch pads now that are launching on Cardano, their tokens are affordable. They're not that expensive. They're like a couple of bucks at the most. And Cardstarter was $80. So I mean, it's really supply and demand also mixed with just the way the crazy markets go. They got hit hard, and I think they saw all that liquidity sitting there because all of those people were supporting their the decks that they were planning on launching. They saw all that money. They saw that their coffers were empty, and they were like, we got, millions of dollars here potentially. I think how much was it? Wasn't it like $10 million or something? So if you've got no money and you're sitting there looking at a bunch of liquidity that you have control over, hey, I mean, one plus one equals two, man. I'm not making any accusations, but I'm just saying the obvious seems like the logical answer. I think they rug pulled them. I think they stole their money. And no, Sunday Swap doesn't have anything to do with that. Sunday Swap was building a DEX. They got into a deal, a gentleman's agreement, and then Sunday Swap kept building and building and building, and they figured out, hey, we don't need card starters liquidity anymore. We're good. We've got a bunch of buzz. We've got a bunch of people that are interested in it enough to follow our social media pages. It got them a bunch of hype. They started going on these different YouTubers platforms doing interviews. They ended up getting featured by Dan. They got a lot of exposure, and they were kind of sitting there this whole time like, wow, we don't really need card starter anymore. Like, it's not, and they have this idea in their head that they got hyped up or they are successful because of card starter, and that's just not true. They didn't use their liquidity. They didn't use their money. They didn't need it because they just, the way things went, they ended up becoming popular on their own, and they ended up becoming bigger than they thought they would be. And because of that, they looked and said, man, why would we give card starter all of these tokens for doing nothing just because we came to some kind of agreement in the summertime? And I think that's what happened. I mean, that stuff happens. It's normal. What card starter should have done is they should have locked the deal down in a real contract. They should have gotten a smart contract. They should have done it on Ethereum. They should have said, hey, mint all your tokens right now on Ethereum and store them. And we want X amount of percent locked up in this wallet. And when you go live, you're going to bridge them over, and then that'll be it. That'll be that. But they didn't do that. Clearly, they didn't do that. They had a gentleman's agreement in a chat room, and it just went wrong. And I think CardStarter really just started leading their people on to keep them from pulling out or to keep them from complaining. And then when the deal finally broke, that's what happened. Then things just went to crap. They started raging. CardStarter got scared, and the rest is history. They started pointing the finger at everybody else, and here we are today. But nobody will want to listen to that story. No one will want to hear you. If you say that as your theory, they're going to destroy you. They're going to come for you. They're gonna give you death threats. They're gonna say everything about you, and they're gonna kick you out of the chat. And that's what's gonna happen. But that is the logical thing that I believe actually happened. I believe that's what happened. I believe that CardStarter took the liquidity. That's what I believe. Until they come out with documentations and real statements instead of old screenshots with no context, that's what I'm going to keep in my head. They rug pulled their own people. Their people found out they were rugged, and instead of going to the logical thing and saying, hey, the people in control of the liquidity robbed us, I agree, Sunday Swap isn't innocent, but this one deal shouldn't have broken CardStarter. Exactly. Sunday Swap. So people believe that business is this clean thing that's surrounded by legality and everybody's, nice. I'm telling you, dude, I worked for a tech startup in the automotive industry. They had patents. They did some dirty stuff, man. I'm talking about the business did dirty stuff. I'm talking about companies did dirty stuff to them. Our accounting department used to, and I found this out the hard way. So I'm smart, right? and I'm not just like, gloating or anything, but I am actually smart. I ended up building, I displayed my intelligence, right? And I got so much leeway and power from executives to basically do what I wanted. My boss, I reported to a VP, and I had a corporate credit card with a lot of money, and I basically was just free to do what I wanted to do. So I ended up building a support department, and I ended up building a supply chain fulfillment department, and we sold a device, and I would make the purchase of the device, I would package the device, and I built a department and a team that would ship that device out to companies once they bought it. And then I also was in control of and built the department that did tech support for the device as well. So I was doing a lot of business, and this was all new to me. So I would have to do things like buy equipment. So I had to buy a bunch of Ethernet cables. I bought like $100,000 worth of Ethernet cables. And the way that business goes is you do like payment terms. So you don't pay for things. I would call up a supplier and be like, hey, I work for this company. Here, yada, yada, yada. Okay, they would do like checks and stuff. Here's the deposit or whatever. And so, you would put like $10,000 down. They would ship the equipment. So I got it was like 20 pallets of freaking Ethernet cables. Like a freaking semi truck came with like 20 pallets of Ethernet cables. And the bill was like $109,000. The company purposefully did not pay that bill. They were like, screw them. Wait until we get to the point where they're like threatening to sue us, then we'll pay them. So they had the money to pay them, but they were able to keep that money and earn interest on the money until they threatened to sue them. And when they threatened to sue them, then they paid them. And then they had made all of this money off the interest of the money that they held. So the companies do stuff like that. That is not like a thing that isn't normal. And they're acting like Sunday Swap committed murder. And I'm like, Sunday Swap did not commit murder. Sunday Swap did business the way business is typically done in America. But in that, they didn't even really do that much. Honestly, if what Sunday Swap did, I would do business with Sunday Swap all day, every day, because the companies I was doing business with, they're cutthroat, man. They will do that to you. They will buy something from you and have no intentions of paying you from day one. They know that they're not going to pay you until you start threatening lawsuits. Then they pay you. So that's pretty much normal in business. And I was dealing with this not in just the auto industry, but just everywhere, like box companies, like cable companies, like companies that sold like different types of patch cables and Ethernet cables and like vehicle connector cables. That's just the way the game goes. Same thing, like even IT departments. Like if you're close to a company, like a small company or even a large company that's in IT, and they do like lease equipment, and they're buying like a bunch of laptops and things like that, just talk to the people that do the supply, like that do the payments, and talk to your accounts payable and your accounts receivable managers, man. They'll tell you they do that stuff. So Sunday didn't really commit this like terrible act. Like it's kind of, especially if you're not in America, it's kind of just the way business is done in America. So I look at it from the inside as like being involved in business and saying, well, Sunday Swap didn't really do anything that crazy. Like they kind of hinted at what was going on. They were really trying not to say anything. I really believe they got forced into posting that blog article, that long one, the kind of long, like PR sounding one. I don't think they wanted to do that. I think they kind of they started really getting annoyed with CardStarter because CardStarter wasn't saying anything to their people. And they were just like, fine, screw it. We're just going to release a statement. And then we're going to make it even worse. And we're going to say, we're going to give you some tokens. Honestly, they didn't have to do that. If it were me, I wouldn't have given them anything. And at this point, the way they're behaving, I'd renege on that. I'd pull back. I wouldn't give them anything. But that's just me though. But yeah, that's what I thought happened. That's what I think happened. That's what I truly believe happens until CardStarter comes out with a statement. And I don't understand why they have not released a statement. It just doesn't make any sense to me. It's not like they have this big bomb that they can drop, because Sunday Swap knows everything that they've said to them, because those screenshots are from like a Discord channel. So there's nothing that they can drop that Sunday Swap doesn't already know they have. That's what I don't understand. Like the card starter people don't get. So, you know, that's just my 2 cents. That's what I believe. It makes the most sense. If card starter knew a few days before that the deal fell through, they were just preparing yep, they were. I thought that was crazy. And I know the community knew that's what the deal was, because if you remember, the community was attacking card starter for like the first day and a half. Because they knew card starter rugged them. Card starter took their money. They know it and I know it. Card starter took their money, dude. And they are just acting like it's somebody else's fault, because they know that card starter took their money and they're not going to get it back. So they're only, in their minds, the only option they have is to fight everyone and everything else, because they know their money's gone. The money's gone. It's not coming back. And they were also talking about, hey, you guys should just build card decks, or what is it? Card swap. Just do card swap, the decentralized decks. Just build it. Building a dex is not easy. If it was, anybody could do it. And they're in the chat saying like, oh, it's super easy. Sunday Swap just used M Labs to build theirs, so it wasn't that hard. I'm like, okay, if you think it's easy to build a decentralized exchange, go ahead and build one and see how hard it is. Developing a DEX on a freaking distributed blockchain is not easy. It's expensive too. That's why Card Starter didn't build one, because they probably ran into problems. They needed to start hiring, probably, again, you need math people. You need programmers. Those people don't work for free. Those people are expensive. A guy like Pi Lanningham, those dudes make a lot of money. That dude he probably has millions of dollars at this point now from working on that project. They don't have that kind of money to just give away to a guy that's just coding for them. So they dropped it and tried to partner with them instead. I have C3 and Giro tokens on MetaMask. Thought I'm getting it moved without paying hundreds of dollars in. Oh, thoughts on getting it moved without paying hundreds of dollars in gas fees. So Ethereum works in different ways. There's transfers and transactions. So there's no way you're going to be able to avoid the transfer fees. That's just the way it is, unfortunately. Your only option right now is to wait. Let me see if I find the website here. It's called ETH Gas Station. All right, so yeah, right now I use this website and it gives you like the transfer prices and stuff. So right now, like if you look on this and it gives you the gas fees, it's usually not right. So it's 97 on here. So it's probably in real life, it's probably like 70, depending on what this says. So this is base fee 86, 423 to transfer. Yeah, see, base fee 72. So yeah, like I said, if it's showing like 97, it's probably like 70 in real life. So it's like 70, 72. So it's not going to take you a ton of money to transfer it right now. But the thing is, why are you transferring it? So what are you looking to do with it? Do you just want to get it off of MetaMask? Are you looking to stake the Giro? Are you trying to trade it? Because you'll probably want to use ADAX if you're going to do that. Because ADAX kind of has a way around the gas fees. It like, I don't 100% know the tech they're using, but I believe it's similar to like a wrapped, like they're wrapping it and they're storing it on their exchange. So you kind of give them custody. That's the only thing that sucks. You have to trust ADAX basically. Oh yeah, no problem. Came123 Yahoo. Just my theories, you know, just what I believe. It's the most logical thing that I can think of, knowing what I know about business and the evidence that's out there, and not being an enraged lunatic, like just using sound logic. That's what I believe happened. I believe they ran into a tough spot. The market, they just got unlucky. Their coin got pumped. The volume went away. The market hit really heavy. They tried to do a DEX. They found out that they probably weren't going to be able to pull it off. They had all this liquidity. They didn't want to give it back. You know, I mean, if you have $10 million, you don't want to return it. So they tried to keep it. They did things to try to keep it. And in the end, it was all going to fall down. The house of cards was going to fall. And they just said, screw it. We're just going to steal it. So that's what I think happened. I think they just stole it. And that's going to be my thoughts until they actually communicate with people and prove that they didn't. That's my take. They stole it. And when I say they, Card Starter. But Travis, yeah, if you're looking to like stake the Giro, you'd have to trust ADAX. And me personally, I'm really heavily contemplating on moving it to ADAX and maybe staking for like the next like 3 weeks, because I think there's a 30-day pool. So I'm just gonna throw like 10,000 tokens in there and maybe make a video on it. So that's what I'm thinking. But if you don't need to do anything with it, then I mean, leaving it on MetaMask, there's nothing wrong with that. You can bridge it whenever you feel like it. There's not gonna for C3. There's not going to be a use case really for it for a decent amount of time. I would say I wouldn't expect anything to happen with C3 for like the next couple of months, maybe summer, early summer, late spring, because they're waiting on the Plutus application backend. Because they're an Oracle, there's no way that they can really do anything without PABs. It's just the way it is. Giro, on the other hand, you can stake Giro right now on ADAX. They have a stake. They have 3 stake pools. It's single token staking, so no LP stuff. So you're not going to deal with impermanent loss, and you'll mitigate fees if you use the central exchange. We're waiting for on the 30th, the decentralized exchange comes out. They've got a preview up on their YouTube page, so you can go check that out if you want to. ADAX Pro. It's coming out on the 30th, they said. But yeah, I think I'm gonna get ready and jump off and hop in the bed. There's a Paribus AMA that's happening early in the morning. So, a new follower, cool, thanks.
Day by the World Economic System. They don't have identity, and as a result, they pay 85% interest.
Yeah. It's pretty bad, but I mean, same thing goes on in poor neighborhoods that I grew up in. Like when I was a kid, we didn't have it. We basically had no identity financially. Banks weren't loaning us anything. We were just poor. Didn't have to live in Africa for that. I lived in the United States of America. Banks weren't giving me nothing.
And I got a chance to go to San Salvador and meet Bukele.
C3 looking like the front runner for oracles right now, in your opinion? They're pretty heavy. They have a lot of support. They're part of the CDA. Their CMO is the speaker for the Cardano Alliance. So Damon's a pretty heavy person. He's got a lot of connections. He's got a lot of projects. They got a lot of partnerships. So I would say, yeah, I would say Charlie is the front runner in oracles for native based. But you know the way the game goes, though. I mean, I think Chainlink is too broad. Chainlink's big. Chainlink is just really broad, and they don't necessarily have a way to become chain agnostic, unless they're working on that in secret, and they just blow the whole industry away with something that they haven't shared with anybody yet. I see Charlie as a really good contender for making it big, especially in just the Cardano DeFi space alone. They've got several catalysts up. They're in contact with IOG constantly. They were talking about getting a match grant from IOG, $50,000. They match, and then I think they said something about if they get the catalyst, IOG will match it, they'll match it, and then they've got a match from the Cardano Foundation is looking to match them. So they're known in the space. Like, they're known. I think they were also featured in a Cardano 360 episode, maybe a few weeks back. So they're in, as far as in can be, they're in with the foundation in IO input output for sure. But the only negative I see right now is one, this card starter stuff. They were launched on card starter. They don't have any connection to them, but they're kind of wrapped up in the drama right now. I don't anticipating it being a big problem, but you know how FUD works and you know how FUD bots work. You know, they could bring trouble to them very easily. So I'm going to get some Charlie. I don't think I'm going to get enough Charlie to become like a node or anything. I just don't have that much capital to put into it. So I think I'm just going to get enough to make it so like if they hit, you know, top 100, it'll, you know, maybe buy me a really nice, you know, sports car or something, you know. Maybe I'll be able to get like a used Huracan, you know, if they get one top 100. That's kind of the investment that I'm looking at. So hopefully that helps you. Their price, I would really, if you're looking to get in, I'm looking at it because I was looking at it when it was $1, and it was just too much for me. So like tonight, it dipped down into like 39. So if you can get in on like one of these, I just would, if you can find a platform where it's at like on ADAX, you can put a limit order in something. I don't know if they have limit orders, but if you can get a limit order in for like 30, I would be bold. I'd put one in for like 30. I put one in for 38 even, and I would probably put one in for 31. A bigger one at 31 just to see if it hits it. And then just start waiting. Like if you have, I would take like 50%. I'd put 25 Twitter handle. My Twitter handle is Manny B Gaming. Or are you talking about Damon's? Charlie C3.
It's been a long journey since then, including like rugs and all sorts of stuff. But I'm not a coder, so I don't really understand all the possibilities.
No, for sure.
But what I will say is that, you know, for me, I definitely believe.
And Charlie, Damon doesn't really use his own Twitter, but I found his Twitter.
You know, I'm really
he typically just does the spaces through the Charlie, the Oracle Charlie.
Even just being on Twitter,
but my handle's right here.
You know, NFTs are bad for the environment, or it's not real art, or I can right click.
I'm gonna jump. Look, what the heck? Who is this?
Yeah, well, yeah.
Yeesh.
Okay. I mean, it's
no thanks. But yeah, I like doing this, man. This is cool. I like talking to you guys. This is fun. I'm probably going to change the name of the video because we didn't really do much of the Twitter space listening. I'll probably just do like state of the market or something. Oh, my. Yeah. Manny B Gaming. So it's right there on the screen. Yeah, thanks for stopping by and talking with us, man. Yeah, I like talking about, you know, low stress, kind of just market talk, talking about Cardano, different projects, like jumping around in the spaces, you know, reaching out to the project people and just talking with them, getting learning information, sharing that with the community. Been tracking and following Jiro recently. I really like their product. I like what they're trying to do. And naturally you start to see like the different other projects that are kind of trying to do the same thing. So naturally you get exposed to a lot of other great projects. So but yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of here, guys. So hit that like. Let me hit the like too. Tell you guys to hit the like. Hit that like, hit that share, subscribe. Hit the notification bell, hit that wallet in the description with some ADA if you can. And we'll see you on the next one.